I want to get your sense right now. You've talked about stepping back from the abyss, making progress in the last few months. Where are we right now? Are you convinced, as it sounds like Chairman Bernanke is, that from a technical standpoint, the recession is likely over?
Peter, I think we've come a long way from where we were in last winter. At that point, the discussion was whether recession would become depression. Today, we're discussing the date of the end of recession. At that point, if you looked at the economic statistics, they had the feel of a ball rolling off a table. We were pretty much in free fall. The economy was losing close to 800,000 jobs in a single month. Today, most observers, almost all observers, expect that when the third quarter GDP statistics come out, they will be positive. It's generally expected that the fourth quarter GDP statistics will be positive. To be sure, there's enormous reason for concern about continued and even increasing joblessness, but we're looking at a very different economic situation. You can choose, and there are people here who are totally professional at this and spend large fractions of their day thinking about this question, but you can take a whole variety of credit spreads. You can ask what was normal, not bubble valuation, but normal valuation pre the crisis. Ask what it was at the worst of the moments post-Lehman. Ask where it is today. And depending on what credits, if you choose some credit spreads, you'll conclude we're 90% of the way back to normal. If you choose others, you'll get a smaller fraction. But you will find it hard to escape the conclusion that there's been a substantial return to more normal conditions. So the vicious cycle that we diagnosed as the essence of the problem we confronted, a weakening financial system causing a credit crunch that stopped the economy in its tracks, a weakening economy that made the financial system impaired. That vicious cycle of deteriorating finance leads to a deteriorating economy, leads to deteriorating finance. You no longer have that as the operative dynamic in the United States or globally, and you have some increasing signs of that vicious cycle being converted into a virtuous circle of improving economic performance, supporting improving financial performance, supporting improved economic performance. So I think we can take very substantial satisfaction in the efficacy of the measures that have been pursued in the United States and abroad. But at the same time, the history of these of financial crises and the history of the aftermaths of financial crisis, as well as the magnitude of the output gap, and most saliently the monthly unemployment figures, suggests that we're in no position to rest, no position to declare victory, no position to let up in the kind of relentless focus on strengthening economic performance that the president has brought.
Let me ask you about the jobless situation, because everyone's focused so much on that, of course. It's been suggested it's a lagging indicator. Given your experience as an economist, this is an area you've studied closely, I know, in the past. Has it surprised you, the level of job losses, the scale of the unemployment situation right now? Given the output loss, can it be argued that it breaks historical precedents?
You know, there's a celebrated relationship among economists known as Okun's Law, which is a quantitative relationship between changes in GDP growth and changes in the unemployment rate. It basically is the suggestion that for every 2 to 2.5 percentage points that the GDP falls short of the level of potential GDP, unemployment will rise by 1 percentage point. And economists have looked fairly carefully at whether unemployment is high relative to what would be predicted by that relationship. And it depends on how you choose your starting point and just what kind of statistical model you use. I think there is some suggestion in the data of a pattern of that kind, but if you ask what's the dominant reason why we have extraordinarily high unemployment, it is that we have an extraordinarily severe recession. There may well be some excess beyond that which is accounted for by the output decline, but that excess is surely not the dominant reason why we have very high unemployment.